Are you worried about job security? Are you nervous that maybe your company is going to get rid of you, or that the industry has moved on and that your role is no longer valuable? Well, I'm going to recommend two books that are going to help you to become a much better version of the person you are, a much better professional. And in a sense, it won't really matter even if the company does get rid of you, because of the skills that you have accumulated. So the first book is Linchpin by Seth Godin. As you can see, both of these are in audiobooks, and Linchpin is really around making yourself indispensable for your company, to become the linchpin. Now, in a sense, that is a problem for a company if they are so dependent on one person that they that things could fall apart if you disappear. And in a sense, nobody is indispensable. So that's one of the objections that people make to this book, Linchpin. But nevertheless, Seth does give some really clear examples of how to stand out without being showy or anything, but how to identify what is that next opportunity, even within your workspace, even when you are working within the same department, the same role that you have always done. How can you really stand out in an amazing way? How can you really become the person who is well, as he says, how to make yourself indispensable, but even if you don't do that, how to become really, really good at what you do. Now, the other book, which I'm going to recommend much more, is by Cal Newport. Be so good that they can't ignore you. So good they can't ignore you. Now, what this one does is it traces especially the story of the comedian and eventual actor Steve Martin, and as well as many other stories, but it speaks about how Steve Martin started off so small and just really starting with little introductions in Disneyland as, I think, a 12-year-old or a 14-year-old, and he was just building his way up, finding out what jokes work as people were coming to play something at Disneyland, and what kind of jokes worked and what stories worked. And the way that he recommended is, and this is really the way that all of the great comedians do, is they do the rounds and they go through smaller comedy stores and they find out what jokes work, what ones don't. Now, how is that relevant to you? Because I'm assuming that you're not a comedian. Well, the idea is that you become so good at tiny, tiny things, but very, very important things, that you are building up brick by brick, building up that repertoire. So that requires a lot of concentration, a lot of focus, yes, a lot of time, a lot of hard work, but especially a lot of focus and concentration. And Cal Newport has another book called Deep Work, which really shows you how to dive deeply, because we're in this world of shallowness and doing fairly superficial things that really a new graduate could do, even us knowledge workers. What Cal Newport says is, here is how you can focus. So so you've got the Deep Work book, which is a really shows you how to make an impact, not by working harder, but by being able to concentrate deeply on one thing without distraction in a world of distractions, and then applying that into this idea that you should try to be so good that they can't ignore you. And both of these approaches, Linchpin and So Good They Can't Ignore You, will help you to feel more confident in yourself, in your professional abilities, and to be less worried, even if if there is some instability in your work environment, because you are developing skills that are going to be very easy to transfer to somewhere else. Now, if you want to get either of these books, you can get them in audio format as audiobooks, which is what I used that's how I consumed them. You can get a free Audible trial using the link in my description below. That's an affiliate link. Or you can get either of these books in paperback format or in as Kindle books. So, Lynchpin by Seth Godin, or So Good They Can't Ignore You. And yeah, both of them have helped me in different ways to become much more valuable as a worker in the company that I'm in.